Well, new fallout from the Supreme Court's religious freedom ruling last week on Hobby Lobby. The High Court siding with the company on its decision not to cover 4 out of 20 forms of contraception for its employees that are against the owner's religious beliefs, those 4. Now we are learning that the National Organization for Women, or NOW, has compiled a, quote, dirty 100 list of the groups who are pushing back against the government for religious freedom reasons. On that list of the so-called dirty, the Little Sisters of the Poor.
We're here to live for Him and the elderly. That's our life. When the people you care for look up at you, they want to see Christ's face. And when you look down at them, you have to find Christ's face. The elderly are at risk if they are on their own, no one to speak for them, no one to stand up and express to the world and show the world that these people are still valuable. They're God's creation. And whether they're Catholic or of any other faith persuasion, you know, they have a home here.
Dirty. Joining me now, Patricia Ireland, former president of the National Organization for Women. Really, Patricia?
Really, Megan. They're on the list with car companies, management companies, food companies like Fresh Foods and Eden Foods, contractors, all kinds of, actually 100 entities that have brought suit to try to overturn the birth control mandate in the Affordable Care Act.
I know, the nuns are opposed to birth control. It's a shock. They operate homes in 31 countries where they provide care for over 13,000 needy elderly persons, many of whom are dying. Dirty? Dirty? You stand by that?
I think that when they, first of all, it's a takeoff on the dirty dozen. Maybe we should have called it the dirty 8 dozen plus 4.
Maybe you should have called it the groups with whom we disagree.
The dirty trick is that they are trying to take their religious beliefs and impose them on their employees. They can opt out. They can just file a form with the government and say, we opt out, and then the insurance carrier will cover their employees.
If they do that, they have to sign a form that basically allows that contraception coverage to be provided by another group. And the nuns, crazy nuns that they are, they're strict about their rule following, and they see that as an endorsement of just these few forms of birth control.
No, they don't want any forms of birth control, and they've lost the battle of persuasion with women. 98% of Catholic women use birth control, and unintended pregnancies are highly correlated with maternal and infant mortality, that is death.
Right.
They're highly correlated,
risky
and it's a risk factor for domestic violence.
Risky behavior has risks. But for a long, long time, a lot of women engaged in... But listen, for a long time, a lot of women engaged in sexual behavior and didn't expect their bosses
to pay for it. Yes, a lot of married women do too, and if they don't use birth control and they have an unintended pregnancy, they are at higher risk for domestic violence.
Do you think the women working for the Little Sisters of the Poor are shocked that they don't want to cover the birth control?
Not shocked at all, but they don't have to decide that they can't opt out. What they're saying is that their employees should not be covered by a law that covers all other employees. Why not
They don't want to sign the permission slip.
Why not say people can opt out?
Because they're nuns. Are you Catholic? Well, I am. We follow rules. It is not a religion for wusses.
Yes,
and the Little Sisters of the Poor
but you
know
don't follow the rules if it's the law. So here we have Hobby Lobby, and the Supreme Court said...
The law is being challenged, and the Supreme Court has sided with the Little Sisters, Patricia.
The Supreme Court said that because the Affordable Care Act has an opt-out provision, that it's okay. And then the Little Sisters of the Poor are saying, we don't want to follow that opt-out provision. So the Supreme Court didn't side with them.
And so far, the Little Sisters are winning. So far, they are winning in their legal challenge. Let me ask you this. Can you understand...
I'm glad they're doing good work out there.
Can you understand the challenge in any way? So let's say that the law, because, you know, groups like Hobby Lobby, for example, they saw these 4 forms of birth control that, you know, they terminate a fertilized egg. They saw that as a form of abortion. They weren't objecting to just, you know, the birth control pill. They said the ones that end a fertilized egg. So, but let me just get the question out. Why is that so bad? I mean, how far would your group take it? Should the law require them to pay for actual abortions?
All they have to do is opt out. And the reality
but
is
that doesn't
that,
answer my question. Should
their
it?
belief. Okay, but let me give my answer. I'll let you get your question out. If their belief that an IUD or a morning after pill works against a fertilized egg is not scientifically based, but their belief is that.
Really?
But they don't get to impose it on
Doesn't
their
the IUD get a fertilized egg off of the uterus? I mean, that's the end of the fertilized egg once it meets the IUD.
No, you need to do a little medical research.
Maybe
That's
I do.
not
I always
how
thought the
an
IUD put an end to the fertilized egg. Is that not right? It just ends all the little eggs?
No. But, the reality is that this law is of general applicability.
So now I hear you dodging. I hear you dodging away, Patricia. Come back. Yeah, I want to answer my question. I want to ask you to answer my question, because theoretically, if you, under your argument, should President Obama, should those who backed Obamacare be able to force companies like Hobby Lobby, for example, into paying for abortions? Because that too could be risky. If a woman wants an abortion, she can't get one.
Well, if there is an opt-out provision that allows them to continue, but see, I have a problem. They can opt out, but I have a problem with corporations who accept the benefits of being a corporation, but then turn around and say, "Oh, no, really, I'm an individual." Corporations don't have religious beliefs. Individual people do.
They do.
And I don't think that a woman's
decision
should be set. I know that. But I don't think that a Supreme Court decision affects the reality that takes it to its illogical conclusion that a corporation is a person. Those individuals
think Roe
have
versus
accepted
Wade
the benefits of the
affected
form.
the reality of people's situations? I mean, you have no faith in the Supreme Court when it comes to Hobby Lobby, but I bet you love the Roe versus Wade decision.
I think the Roe versus Wade decision was correctly decided in terms of women's autonomy and freedom. And
well, the other
side
says that Supreme Court decision does not affect their reality, that life begins at conception.
And they don't have to pay for anything they don't want to if they do have to abide by the law and
respect the rule of law as pronounced by the U.S. Supreme Court.
We have separation of church and state.
Right.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And in the Hobby Lobby decision.
And I do.
All right, Patricia, listen.
And I have the right to say these people are wrong and to not patronize them and to put them on any list I want.
Let me just say this. You do. I agree with that, and I love that about this country. But why are you calling a group of nuns dirty? It's bad.
Hey, it's like the Dirty Dozen. It's a bad reference, perhaps,
but
it's not saying...
Okay, I'll pass that on to the Little Sisters, whose lawyer we've had on the program. Patricia, thanks for coming on.
I love hospice work. I love what they do, and I'm glad to be on your show, Kelly.
All right, thanks for coming on. Chris Direwald joins us now. He's our digital politics editor for FoxNews.com. So they meant it lovingly.
It was loving dirt.
They're dirty nuns. That's what you call a nun when you want to pay a compliment.
Like Charles Bronson. Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know what to make of this, but my question for you, Starwalt, is politically, how is this playing out? Because these Democrats are organizing against that Hobby Lobby decision.
They need it. They want it. Look, you pointed out tonight, the president can't even, he can't get a speeding ticket in Denver. Nobody wants to show up to see him of his own party as he arrives in Colorado, and that's because his approval rating stinks on ICE. He's got, I think, a 38% in Colorado, a state he carried twice. How do you win? You win by using social issues, divisive wedge issues, especially to scare your voters. In Colorado in 2010, really, 2 times the Democrats have saved their control of the U.S. Senate by using social issues and using scare tactics. Colorado is a great example. They broke the Republican wave in 2010 in Colorado, talking about social issues and getting women to vote in extra large numbers. What they're doing with the Hobby Lobby stuff and the morning after pill and all of that business relates to frightening women voters to say, you better get out there and you better vote for the Democrats or they're going to take your birth control away.
And they love to pit us against one another. Oh, they love nothing more than to pit woman against woman when it comes to an issue like our bodies and our birth control, rather than acknowledging there can be 2 reasonable people on both sides of this aisle who just see some place to disagree in the middle and an accommodation to be provided for the most devout among us. Mr. Steigerwald, good to see you. You dirty dog,
Good to see you.
And I mean that in the most affectionate way.
In the most loving way, yes, absolutely.